A long time ago, in the outskirts of a small village, lived a couple who had been married for 6 years. Mr. and Mrs. Essien were blessed with 2 children, Uyai and Basi. They were a happy family who lived in love and were content with the little they had. Mrs. Affy Essien woke up one morning and went to the stream to fetch water for the family, which was her usual routine. But that fateful day, she hit her leg against a stone. It was a kind hunter who had gone to check his trap that morning who saw her groaning in pain. Immediately, he carried her home. Mr. Essien felt bad for his dear wife as he helped her in massaging her leg, and thus decided to employ a maid to help his wife with house chores since the children weren't old enough to assist her. Edikan, the maid, performed her duties diligently for a couple of months before Affy started noticing a few changes in her attitude towards her and the job. She started hearing rumors around the village that Edikan was sleeping with her husband, but she did not believe them. One day, she decided to check Edikan's bag to see if she would find a clue as to her misbehavior. She opened up the bag and was surprised to see the expensive wrapper and beads our darling husband had gotten her a month ago. She was furious, stamping her feet on the ground with her hands akimbo, patiently waiting for her return. As soon as Edikan returned from the market, Affy rushed at her and gave her a hot slap on the cheek. She accused her of stealing from her. Amidst tears, Edikan told her she did not steal from her and that she should check her own bag. She would find hers. Affy thought she was bluffing, so she, however, went to check and was shocked to find hers still intact. Then she asked who gave her the wrappers and the beads. Edikan told her she got the wrappers and beads from her husband. Affy was left in shock. Why would her darling husband get the same thing he got for her for a common maid? Affy was in the bathroom having a bath when she heard screams from her husband. Before she knew it, he dragged her out naked from the bathroom and gave her the beating of her life. Luckily, the children were all asleep. Then he asked her who gave her the right to touch the maid. He continued hitting her until she was almost dead. Then he rushed her almost lifeless body to the village traditional doctor for treatment. It was already too late. She gave up the ghost. Right before her last breath, she told Mr. Essien, her husband, that she knew she was going to die and that he killed her because of a woman. But he was also going to die by the hands of a woman. Then she died. Affy was not married traditionally. She had eloped with Mr. Essien because she thought they were in love, and our family refused to give their blessing. And so, she was buried like a nobody. 6 months later, Mr. Essien got married to Edikan with the excuse that the children needed a mother figure in their lives. Affy's children were maltreated by Edikan. She beat them up at the slightest chance she got and refused them food. She made them work for food. She had no human conscience as to how little they were. Affy's spirit did not find rest where she was. She cried with them whenever they cried. But there was nothing her poor spirit could do for them. And so, she begged the gods for a second chance at life so she can come back and care for her children. A deacon got pregnant. Her joy knew no bounds. She was finally going to become a mother. It was believed that pregnant women should not come out when the sun is very hot, as it could attract spirits to them. One day, a deacon was in a hot chase on a very sunny afternoon with Uyai, Affy's first daughter, because she stole her food to feed her brother. Affy's spirit was around as usual to watch over her children. Then she saw the opportunity and grabbed it. She immediately entered a deacon's womb. At the 9th month, Affy was reborn. She, however, caused a deacon some serious complications, which resulted to an inability to ever bear children again. The baby was called Usoro, which meant celebration. But it was the other way around. She caused her parents so much pain. The loss Mr. Essien and a deacon shared became a thing of pain and sorrow, as the child caused great havoc to them. It started with sicknesses that had no cure. Boils started appearing all over their bodies, which made them spend so much of the money they had. Usoro took care of her older siblings like they were her children. Whenever a deacon, their stepmother, refused to give them food, she would sneak out food to them and always made sure they were full. She behaved and acted like an old woman reincarnated. The villagers spent time gossiping about the family. Mr. Essien soon lost his means of livelihood, and the children were barely able to feed. This made a deacon very angry and mad. She started frolicking with different men for money. Mr. Essien became a laughingstock in the whole village. They fought every day like cat and mouse. A once happy family became a nightmare. She had become frustrated with the marriage and wanted out so she can freely sell her body for money. And so, she decided to poison her husband. Mr. Essien, who had now become the village drunk, returned home to a delicious meal on the table and quickly devoured the food. That night, a deacon ran away, leaving our daughter behind to the city to meet her friends who were prostitutes. The next morning, the children woke up to the lifeless body of their father. The whole village had gathered to mourn him. Usoro quickly asked them to pack their bags and follow her, which they did without any questions, because she had been the only one looking after them. She traced her hometown and got to her father's compound. She explained to them all that had happened. They did not believe that the little girl talking to them was their Affy. So, Affy told them things that only their family knew about. They opened their mouth in shock and wept for their dead daughter. She told them the children with her belonged to her. Then she handed her children to her mother and father to take care of them. She gave them a bag containing a huge sum of money, which she had been saving while she was alive. They were to use it to take care of their grandchildren. The next morning, when they woke up, they saw no sight of her. She was gone to rest in peace, knowing fully well her children would be properly cared for. A deacon contracted a deadly disease that had no cure and died shamefully. The end. Thanks for watching.